Trapmore gang, this David situation is developing rapidly. Okay, I wasn't even going to do another update today, all right, but I've put everything together because I just have to share this with you, okay? This is actually insane, all right? They're saying now that an arrest is imminent, but you know what's even more crazy? It might not even be David that's getting arrested. I know. I can't believe it myself, but they're saying that somebody, an unnamed person, who is currently apparently being uncooperative with the grand jury investigation, might actually be about to get nicked, all right? And a lot of people are saying it's not even David. So look, let's just break this down. This is what TMZ is saying. Okay, I've got a whole bunch of links from Reddit. I'm just in shock at this, okay? This says an uncooperative witness is about to be arrested. There's trouble in the grand jury room where witnesses are testifying about the circumstances surrounding Celeste's death. Because at least one witness is so uncooperative, TMZ, you're dropping a few hints here, she is about to be arrested, TMZ has learned. Now, I wonder who that could be. I wonder if they're even in the country, because we've talked about a certain she, allegedly, fleeing to a little Nordic nation recently, all right? But we're going to get into that in a minute, all right? It says, here's the way it went down. Beth Silverman, the deputy DA, presenting the case in Los Angeles, came out into the hallway Wednesday afternoon and approached attorney Evan Jennis. She represents Robert Morganroth, who manages singer David. Robert, all right, Robert, you're in a lot of trouble. You know from the last video, you are in a lot of trouble, Robert. There he is, all right? Take a good look at Robert. He's in deep dookie, okay? But it says Silverman told Jennis that she was going to have the judge issue a body attachment. Now, no pun intended, okay? But body attachment sounds crazy. I'm not going to lie. Body attachment is wild. A body attachment to force a female witness to testify before the grand jury. And it appears the female witness was a no-show. A visibly frustrated Silverman said that she would have authorities take the female witness into custody and bring her to the courtroom. She, who's it going to be? All right, who's it going to be? We do not know who the female witness is, but it's interesting because she's represented by the same lawyer as Morganroth, Robert, who spent around 3 days testifying before the grand jury. So we've been hearing about this Robert guy, okay? They're trying to get to the bottom of what's going on with him. He was apparently saying, oh, you know, they were telling me, why didn't I call the police? I didn't think it was my job to call the police. Oh, yeah, when you're artist, when the guy you're working with, the guy you're running around sweeping off after, is dating a minor that was 13 at the time you guys were seen at the show. Yeah, you were seen at, yeah, you're all seen at the same show, all right? You can't pretend she didn't exist because she was there at the show and we've seen the pics, all right? Oh, I didn't think it was my job to call the police that my client was dating a minor at 13. Good luck, Robert. Good luck with that one. Okay, and the same lawyer, the same despicable lawyer that's sticking up for Robert is apparently supposed to be going to bat for this chick. Now, this is absolutely out of control, okay? And I'm going to do a whole other video about Robert after this. I ain't going to lie to you. It says, TMZ broke the story. Morganroth was in the hallway on Monday telling his lawyer that things got tense in the grand jury room when Deputy DA Silverman pressed him, big pressing, on why he didn't call the police. He didn't say what he knew that would make Silverman challenge him on not making the call, but he said he responded to her by saying he didn't think it was his duty and he was just trying to keep David's tour going. If David just needs minors, if he just needs 13-year-old minors on deck to keep that tour going, what are you going to do, Robert? Huh? Robert? What are you going to do? This is actually insane. This is disgusting. All right? It says it's unclear if the female witness has some connection to Morganroth. Well, got the same lawyer. That's a bit of a connection, right? Like, it's a little bit of a connection. What's the connection? It all points to David, whom the DA and LAPD are treating as a suspect in what they say is the murder of Celeste. Now, there is a clip that's going around from TMZ basically announcing this detail. I think we should take a look at that as it was posted on Reddit, and it is quite fascinating. Let's take a look at this. And just apologies, okay? I know everything's a little bit small and a little bit low quality right now, okay? I'm currently just on a little trip. And I'm doing the best I can, okay? I've got a whole new setup. I've got a different microphone. I hope this still sounds decent, all right? But I will be back to my setup in very soon, all right? Just bear with me.
About to get arrested in the case involving the death of Celeste Rivas, and it is not David.
How was there an arrest? If someone gets arrested before David in this case, that is just that's a disgrace. Like, you're out here arresting people that aren't David. Like, come on, do you want me to just take over the case, guys?
Know a lot. Let me download you on what we found out.
Download me, Harvey.
This week, there has been a witness before the grand jury, and he is intimately involved in David's life, the singer David, who the LAPD and the LA County DA says is a suspect in what they believe is the murder of Celeste Rivas. His name is Robert Morganroth. Robert Morgenroth is the head of Mogul Vision, which is the label for David. But more than just the executive, the general manager, he is a manager. He manages David, and he is involved in David's day-to-day life and clearly knows a lot. So on Monday, Morgenroth was in the hallway with his lawyer, and there were people around, and they weren't sitting or standing right next to them, but the hallway echoes. And it was clear to people around there that there was a conversation that Morgenroth was having with his lawyer. And he was recounting what happened inside the grand jury room with the prosecutor in the case. The prosecutor, Beth Silverman, according to Morgenroth, here's what he said. She was very pushy on why I didn't call police. And then he went on to say that he said, in response to that, that he said, quote, I feel like I didn't have the responsibility to do that and just wanted to continue with the tour. Now, we do not know the context of this, but when the DA is grilling him about not calling the police, that has to involve a crime. You're not going to call the police because somebody didn't show up for work. You're going to call the police if there's some kind of crime involved, especially since this is a case involving what the DA says is a crime. So
to me, yeah, and we're going to keep going with this clip in a minute, but there's two possible, not even, the fact I even have to say possible is actually just twisted, right? There's two different crimes that could be at play here. It could be an alleged, it's not even alleged, it could be an adult having a minor of 13. They're saying allegedly, in my opinion, from what I've seen, okay, she was 11 when they met on Fortnite. That's what they're saying on Reddit, okay? I don't know for sure. I wasn't there, but this is a minor and an adult that had something that, according to some people, in some people's opinion, resembled a relationship, okay? That's one crime. That's already a crime. Why isn't somebody getting arrested for that crime? And then you got the fact that this person lost their life and was found in the trunk of a car, like a couple streets over from his house. I just don't even know how we're even still in this conversation, how they're about to arrest someone that isn't the man whose car that is. But hey, they're saying, why didn't you call the police? Is it the minor or is it the body? We don't know. Was he the last person to move the car? Some people are theorizing that maybe that manager was the last person to move the car, but it's not about him. It's about this woman that they're going to arrest. If her getting arrested before David is actually insanity.
We don't know what Morgenroth knew that would require him, according to the DA, to pick up a telephone and call the police. But there's something. And again, he was involved in David's day-to-day life. So, okay, there is more. There is another manager in this same company.
So, we'll get to the other manager in a bit, right? But let's just see what people are saying about this on Reddit, okay? They're saying, TMZ once again trying to control the narrative. Now, this is interesting, right? Because a lot of people have been saying that David's lawyer, Blair Burke, some super hotshot lawyer. I think they're saying that she was working with Harvey Weinstein, like great clientele. Okay, he got cooked. So I don't know if that's if I was facing these sorts of charges, I wouldn't hire whoever represented Harvey Weinstein while my boy got cooked like a Thanksgiving turkey. But anyway, they're saying that TMZ and Harvey from TMZ, okay, they're saying that he was good old friends with Blair Burke from back in the day, so they're actually trying to help David control the narrative. This says TMZ once again trying to control the narrative. See, look, these guys are tied to his life. They have access to his cars. They could have done it, doing David's lawyer's dirty work. It says, this confused me so much, lol. I thought he was saying that they believe his manager is the murderer for a second. But besides that, why is he being arrested first? So confused. It's a she, not a man. All right, that's what TMZ is trying to do to people. They're trying to confuse them. People are saying you need to look more carefully. They're saying, I think SF is being arrested for not showing up. Now, I think SF did actually show up at one hearing, and then he didn't want to show up to the second hearing that he was notified about on what looked like a piece of toilet paper scrawled upon. But anyway, this is more reporting in the David 2 subreddit, okay? It says the article says the witness and the manager share a lawyer. I'm thinking about the woman that appears behind the scenes with Celeste in one of her pictures of David's tour. I don't know her name. They're saying it could be Lane Cooperstein. Oh boy. Oh boy. So some people are saying it's Asia. Some people are saying it could be this Lane Cooperstein. That would be pretty interesting. She's right there with Celeste. I ain't gonna lie. That pic is bad. Like, you really pictured you standing behind the minor at the show? She's 13 in this picture. Are you dumb? All right. Even David was smart enough not to be taking too many pictures with this girl. You are cooked. Even if that's not the person getting arrested, I'm not saying it is for sure. Okay, but like, bro, that's a bad look. Now it says, I noticed the pictures Asia recently had showing off David had now been taken down, hidden again. She is very sus. I do not underestimate her role in any way in this. She's probably terrified she will break down. Well, she was one of the first people to be spotted out of the country. People saying, yeah, you have to be careful what you post. I may take this down for some reason. It's like they only want certain things in here. It's the mods, no disrespect, but take that the way you will. They're talking about her social media, not this sub. Anyway, so we're not going to get into David's sub politics. It's too meta at that point, okay? They're saying it's probably his mother. That's very interesting. Why would Asia have the same lawyer as Rob? That's really interesting. Could it be the mother? Not sure who it might be, but if the uncooperative witness was his mother, I suspect there'd be some sort of legal paper trail. As a body attachment means the court authorizes law enforcement to detain the witness and bring them before the grand jury, but enforcement depends on location. If the witness is in California, it happens with immediate effect. If the witness is in Texas, the warrant does not automatically let Texas police grab them. That's really interesting. California must still go through the Uniform Act to secure cooperation, so there'd likely be paperwork filed to compel a Texas resident. But if they're in California, when would we see the arrest? People are saying tomorrow. I don't know. If it happens tomorrow, I'll be sure to keep you guys updated. It says, entertainment lawyers hired by the record company. Whose interest do they have in mind? Their own. They want this. Their company clean and shiny with no little girls left dead in a Tesla. That's a coward. The whole lot. That doesn't really make sense. Let's see how shiny and fun you have playing with your defense team. I mean the record labels. Not all comments good. David is probably in with her and paying for the same lawyer. He definitely doesn't want Asia to roll. They're saying, why not? Can she even afford it? I doubt she can afford the lawyer. It doesn't look like she really had anything going on. The record label will throw any of the kids under the bus, just like they indirectly or directly did to Celeste. She'll be getting her own lawyer, but they are young and insanely high. Here's the thing. If Asia actually knew what was going on and they need to make sure that she doesn't flip on David, he might rise the budget for that lawyer. I'm not going to lie. It says, Asia, girl, they're coming straight for you. Straight to jail. I'll give you some more background on Asia in a bit, if we got time. Or I could do it in another video. It says, unclear if the female witness has some connection to Morgan Roth, but it all points to David, whom the DA and LAPD are treating as a suspect in what they say is the murder of Celeste. That was from the article. Could it be Lane? Do you remember when the LA detective said that nobody's off limits? I think they're going after the core of the label. It ain't just a lot of young kids they're going after, it's executives from the label, holding everybody accountable so when they go to court, ain't no stone unturned. Right? So Lane was seen with Celeste in a lot of pictures, could have been the one arrested. It says they're probably just trying to establish a timeline of whether them people knew Celeste personally. They've seen her around, so that established that she was with the core group. They're trying to act like they don't know who she is, basically. It says, we'll see what happens. I personally think it's Lane, to be honest. It said, I thought his mother at first, but Lane makes sense. What would be the reason for not showing up? Surely she's less complicit than Rob, who did show up, or maybe he's actually in hot shit. Says probably because she thinks she has nothing to do with this when she was literally seen with Celeste. You mean that you've seen that picture of Celeste backstage and seen Lane looking at David, right? Lane Cooperstein makes the most sense to me, since it's likely the label's lawyers are representing them. It says Lane was at the Doheny house through many of David's streams and many video shoots and was at the Fonda. Anybody who was at that Fonda is cooked. I'm not going to lie. If you were at the Fonda Theatre with the 13-year-old girl in attendance, you are got to be cooked, and it's only right. It says TMZ broke the story. Morgan Roth was in the hallway on Monday telling his lawyer things got tense in the grand jury room when the deputy DA, Silverman, pressed him on why they didn't call the police. He didn't say what he knew that would make Silverman challenge him on not making the call, but he said that he responded to her by saying that he didn't think that it was his duty and that he was trying to keep David's tour going. They're saying, does anyone think that Asia and David have something going on between them? She's been with him tight the last few months. I mean, yes, they could just be good friends, but it makes me wonder if they've been seeing each other. Anybody else think this? Could you imagine if he was actually... Who would want to date David after this? Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Do you think he's still getting busy? He's still getting busy on the dating apps? Come on, man. It's a theory that Asia killed Celeste to get her out the picture so she could further her relationship with David. Why has this got 3 downvotes? Or David asked Asia to get rid of Celeste, and that's how she ended up dead, and David can't come out with the truth as Celeste was a minor. I'm not saying it's true, but a few have theorized this. It's a PDF love triangle. That's what they're saying. Look, I think that's a dumb theory, but I don't know why everyone downvoted you. You straight up said it's just a theory, and you even said you're not saying it's true. It's a subreddit to discuss and theorize. As long as you're clearly labeling your theory, who cares? It's certainly not as crazy as some of the stuff I see floated here. Here we go. I love this. This comment is flames, I'm not going to lie. Mark my words, it's Asia. Mogul Vision is paying for her representation as a way to buy her silence. They are all complicit and knew about Celeste. Her fixers were in here a week ago posting fake PR stories about how Asia is innocent and supposedly helped Celeste and told her to leave David like a big sister, which was a lie. And now she's on the run, uncooperative and playing in our faces by unhiding those Coachella pictures of her, Neo, and David. All of them are involved, including his management, who helped him cover up this crime because they just wanted to keep touring and make money. They're all involved, which is why Mogul Vision and Interscope haven't even distanced themselves and dropped David as a client by now. They are all going down. Oh, don't get me... Don't get me riled up now. I don't want to say it. We're going to keep this PG for YouTube. The main suspects, David, Neo the Asian. Neo, I want to see Neo get cooked. I ain't going to lie. Neo is absolutely just... Neo's a problem. All right, Neo's a problem, allegedly, in my opinion. The accessories to the cover-up, Asia Collins, Celeste Herrera. I ain't going to lie. The decoy Celeste, you need to get cooked. If somebody dies and you step in because you got the same name and you look like them as a decoy to try and cover it up, I'm going to need to see you cooked as well. Robert Morganroth. Robert, you're a problem. Josh Marshall, he's a weirdo. Zerks, this guy is super weirdo from David's Discord. Others in David's inner circle who looked the other way and aided in the cover-up. I'm looking at you, woman that was stood behind the miner at the festival, at the show. It says, Jesus Christ. David isn't a golden goose, nor is he powerful enough to have all these people cover his ass. Go outside, bro. Bro, this guy was making millions and millions of dollars for all of these people. This guy was the sun. He was the center of the solar system for all of these lamos who had no talent and nothing going on. All right? I think it's possible that they could have covered this up. He was having 5 billion streams before he had even got caught with this body in his trunk. So I could believe that some of these absolutely talentless clinger-ons could do horrendous things to try and protect their position. Like, bruh, Neo and Asia, like, what they got going on? They ain't got no motion outside of this nonsense. Right? It says, I think they'd all have an incentive to represent Asia to cover their own ass, not David's. If they all agreed to throw him under the bus, they could escape more severe punishment. And if Asia is at all loyal to David or could testify how much his management knew, they could all go down. They could have reason to want to control her for their own sake, but they don't give a F about David. He was the next Taylor Swift. Yeah, a bunch of bot accounts trying to sway public opinion and confuse potential jurors. Okay, you're thinking too big. They only had a distribution deal with Interscope, so they wouldn't be part of day-to-day operations. They gave him a budget to work with who was responsible for that. Josh Marshall and that Robert dude. It says, no, you're not seeing the big picture. Mogul Vision was founded in 2019 as a joint venture between Josh Marshall and Arista Records, a label owned by Sony Music. In 2023, Mogul Vision entered a partnership with Interscope, Geffen, A&M Records as part of Universal Music Group. So while Sony and UMG mostly operate independently and compete as separate corporate giants, sometimes they collaborate and enter shared agreements with their mutual interests. These mutual interests between Sony and Universal tend to take the form of industry-wide deals. They're all connected and have a vested interest in protecting their assets. David is an investment. He's an asset, and his handlers had a vested interest in looking the other way regarding Celeste, so they could continue to make money, which is all they care about. There is a reason they have not dropped him. It's a big deal. More of a reason to get rid of Celeste. If she's a problem, she can sink the whole ship with that type of scandal. So I don't think they care about getting money from David at all anymore. What they care about right now is saving their own ass. And if Asia has that info that can land them in prison, they have incentive to help her and control her / what she says. They don't give a F about making money off David anymore. He's the one that got them in this position. They don't want to go down for how much they knew or were involved. We've all been places with people and not been overly concerned with the crowd. It wasn't like he was introducing her to people. She was just a fan, so how would they know her? Yeah, that's a reach. The pictures that was taken to them, they could just be shaking her. It wasn't like they were even shaking her hand or hugging up to her like she was just a fan to him. I'm a downvote that one too. Let's be real. Let's be real, right? She was a minor. She was backstage. She was taking pictures, hugging him. She had her hands around him. He covered up her face in the pictures that they posted. Give me a break. But anyway, there's more reaction to this over on the Celeste subreddit, which we're going to take a quick look-see at. They're saying it's heating up. We're going to see a lot of people that were around David get cooked, time to saute, man. They're saying the holidays came sooner than expected, man. Let's get him cooked, right? Thanksgiving, we cooked for Thanksgiving. Now we're about to cook up Christmas ham, okay? I noticed the pictures Asia recently had showing off David have now been taken down and hidden again. Who do we think it is? Asia? The article says the witness and the manager have the same lawyer. I'm thinking about the woman who appears behind the scenes with Celeste in the picture of David's tour. Lane Cooperstein, that's who you're thinking of. The chick in the August stream, and from the photos in the Fonda, she works for them. There she is, all right? Did I already react to this? No, I didn't. Here we go. I was just thinking about this. We don't know her name or anything. She's been so under the radar. We know her name, Lane Cooperstein, all right? What's this? History lesson. Oh, God. Okay. Look, I'm going to break this down in a bigger video. I'm actually going to break this down a lot more. But basically, this actually goes through all of the people from Mogul Vision, okay? Celeste was there. She was there. Whole label there. All right. Oh dear, you guys have made a big Robert. All right, you made a big, big, big mistake. David's mom, David's dad, Lane Cooperstein, Rob's brother. Oh, David's guitarist. You are cooked. You are cooked. I feel like I'm looking at the menu right now. I feel like I'm looking at the menu for a Christmas carve up, bro, because everybody's getting cooked. You're all getting cooked. We're gonna break this down in a full video. Don't. Sorry, I got it. I got this. I'm a cook. All right, I'm gonna get in the kitchen and cook. They're saying, is she still in Oslo, Norway? I'm guessing maybe the mother. She posted a TikTok yesterday in a pool with palm trees in the background, so some people think she isn't back in LA, or she probably never left. You know how mentally ill people act on social media. Except with her, it's no act. They'll take her passport. She's cooked. All right, saying, is it the mum or is it the friends? I don't think the mum would do that to her own daughter. I think they're talking about David's mum. They're not talking about Celeste's mum. Damn, if I could somehow place a bet back in September that David wouldn't be the first person to be arrested, I would have been a millionaire. That's actually wild. We did actually... No, my bad. We did actually read these comments. Did we already read these comments? Let's have a look. I think it's just the same comments being posted in different subs. So basically, these are just some more breakdowns. Okay, people are saying conflict of interest if they got the same lawyer as the manager. When are they going to arrest him? Literally, get his ass on the stand ASAP. There's money and power involved, but that MF ain't Diddy. How the hell is he so protected? All right, he isn't. They just don't want to jump to conclusions. He's probably already out the country, or they would have him by now. I agree with it. I really do think he would have fled the country. If he were out the country, they'd issue a warrant for his arrest. Looks insane to flee during this. It looks insane to flee, but it also looks insane to stick around, bro. If I'm catching a hat like this, bro, you're gonna see me in what's that country? I looked this up. Algeria is the highest GDP country that ain't got no extradition treaties. I'm straight Algeria. This would never happen to me because I'm not a weirdo, but yeah, straight Algeria timing for sure. They're saying it has to be Asia. People are saying it's got to be Asia, man. Okay, there's a great Lane post from ways back on D4VD's that also shows that she was second of 5 D4 secret ninjas. Oh no! Oh no! Wait, group after Rob on David's phone. Lane was seemingly David's darkroom day-to-day manager, like Rob was his Mogul Vision day-to-day manager. They're saying that could be his mom. Yeah, also the way she closed the door on cops when they went to their house in Texas lines up, not cooperating with the investigation. Ooh, that's a problem. That's a problem. She seems the type to think her son is the victim no matter the circumstance. My guess is I've seen as the mother, Lane or Asia. I agree with the others. I don't think Asia could afford the lawyers. Rob has, so I'm thinking the mum or Lane. Is the mum wealthy now because of David? If not... They were saying David transferred whole couple properties into the mama's name. I heard, and she came up. Coincidentally, Asia fled to Europe. That is sus. I agree, but I think the fact she's being public about it makes it less like she's trying to disappear and flee. I do think she knew Celeste's age, but I don't know if she knew about the murder. Even if she's not the person to be arrested, she definitely has some weird ties. Also, Asia being young, and honestly, what does she have to gain by protecting David in any way, shape, or form? Those at the label absolutely had everything to gain to protect their asset. This includes ignoring drug use, alcohol use by minors. Remember, kids, you've got to be 21 to buy beer in California. I don't think we saw... Most of David's career, he weren't no 21. All right? Consorting with children, plausible deniability is the name of the game. Lock every one of them up. They watched the kidnapping and R-word of a 12-year-old girl. I'm with it. We're kind of just going over the same things, right? These are the people that were at the theater... They're saying they still haven't arrested this creep because LAPD doesn't care about predators or people who hurt children. Very sad. RIP Celeste. I'm done with this case. If he was an average person not making people money, he would have been arrested. It's really sad, man. If she was a little underage white girl, but the fact that this was a runaway minority, it doesn't matter which, isn't cool. Arrest this creep. All right? If he did it, he will be arrested. Why would they arrest him? They're going to wait until they have the evidence. Not everything's a conspiracy. Please tell me a rational explanation on how his underage girlfriend ended up in pieces in his trunk. Please tell me how he didn't. You're a weirdo, not going to lie. Upvote. All right? This pick is peak. This pick is peak. She's going to be added to the Robert list. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have to create a list and check it twice. Now, look, above and beyond everything else, the label is going to do everything they can to protect this, because if it played out the way we think, a bunch of people from his camp having some knowledge, they're all going to be on the hook for a lot of money in lawsuits. I say put all... the guilty ones away. Better arrest that Damiga. That's alright. I didn't say it. Anyway, All right, last thing, okay? Last thing, we're going to touch on Asia, but I'm going to do a whole video on Asia because, like, this is, regardless, she needs to be cooked, okay? Asia and Robert appear to have the same lawyer and she's not turning up to court. So this says the witness, Asia, did not show up for court, apparently has the same legal representation. Now, I feel like this post is jumping the gun. We don't know that for sure. But it says the authorities are quite close to filing an arrest warrant, but she's currently abroad. Josh Marshall is also being considered for questioning. As I mentioned before, Asia's status as the key witness is likely the reason she's hiding. Why is just anyone allowed to use the... Oh, okay. That's inside baseball for the David subreddits. It says, how do you know Asia has the same lawyer? It has to be somebody that works for them because that lady is a high-powered lawyer, requires money, that Asia ain't got no damn money, so they provide the lawyers. Now, look, they're basically making an assumption. Okay, they're making an assumption. I can't say for sure that it's Asia, all right, but at the same time, one hire, many... I'm going to lie, this is unrelated, but Upwork, you know what I'm saying? I need to hire someone from Chicago. Can you make sure they've got at least 3 hats? That'd be great. That'd be great. Anyway, people saying she's back in California. Okay, at least on her Instagram, it looked like she was back. All right. They're saying earlier today she said she was in California in a comment, but she could be capping. All right. So they're going to find y'all. She said, I'm in California. What do you mean? Asia, man. Like, you cooked. You cooked. Okay. The fact you're even letting people get into your head in these comments and you're feeling like you got to defend yourself, like, you dumb. You dumb as hell. As of today or yesterday, I'm just wondering because whoever the witness is getting arrested for a no-show. Oh, it was a no-show for testifying because she was in... It could have been because she was in Norway. If she was in California, it's another story, not sure. If I was hiding out in Oslo, I would probably be commenting, telling people I'm in California to troll. I ain't going to lie to you. Okay? Guys, I'm in Oslo right now, by the way, just so you know. All right, this is Oslo where I'm at. Says, what's the proof that she has the same lawyer? There is no proof, right? I'm going to wrap it up there. And what I'm going to do... Let me just see. I need to make sure this is... all right. So what I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to put together a full breakdown of what everybody is saying about the management team being involved. I'm going to have to do a little bit more of a deep dive into Asia separately because she, defo, in a lot of trouble. She's getting cooked. And really, there's another TMZ article going around basically saying that David's management were closely linked to his personal life. And what I want to do is just do a whole breakdown of all of these folks that are around him. I'm probably going to come back quite like late tomorrow night and do that. Okay, I might do a little bit of research now, but depending on what I find, that might decide whether or not I do another video, okay? As you can see, I'm not in the usual setup, okay? I'm in Oslo, Norway right now, as I said, you know what I'm saying? I'm in Oslo. So, you know, I'm in Oslo on the hunt for Asia. If I see her, I'll be sure to tell her the grand jury is looking for her, allegedly, according to some Reddit comments. But for real, they're saying that an arrest could be coming soon, and if somebody gets arrested, it's not David. If somebody gets arrested before David, I'm just going to have a meltdown, because that is actually, that's crazy. That's actually insane. I'm speechless. But it's not happened yet, okay? So I don't want to jump the gun. Could be Asia, could be the girl from his label, but the fact that they've identified that it's a woman is very interesting. But then again, TMZ have definitely capped a few times before. So I'll keep you guys updated if I hear anything more. Definitely cooking time coming soon. Oven is preheated, okay? And somebody's about to get cooked. Somebody's about to get cooked. If it's not David, that's a travesty. But I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'll be back probably tomorrow, maybe later tonight. I don't know. It depends how I feel. Depends what I find out. But I appreciate you guys watching. I'll catch you in the next video. I am out from Oslo, Norway. Peace.